Hello, everybody. It's Amy from Amy Stitchery. This is Flosstube number 84. Today is Saturday, April 1st, 2023. And if you are new here, thanks for coming. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. Lots to show you. I had to film a Flosstube today so I could get some stuff put away. So it's been a busy day here. Upstate New York, 68 degrees today. Then we had a bunch of storms come through, and now it's 45. Springtime in New York. I was watching Pam on Stitching Between the Lines, and she doesn't live far from me. And she was saying the same thing about New York, you know, the weather in the springtime. It's as it's as insane as it gets, I think. Sometimes we don't have things like tornadoes usually, or hurricanes usually, or anything like that, but we definitely do get our share of freaky weather. Apparently last night we had a thunderstorm really loud. It woke up my husband. I was super tired. I had been at Albany at a nursing conference and was super tired, so I apparently slept right through that storm, which is not my MO. Sorry, my hair's a little bit crazy today. So I did not hear that storm, and it was a beautiful day most of the day today. 68 degrees. It was 50 something when we went to breakfast. I had today off because I had gone to that conference, so I didn't have to teach clinicals today, but I go back into swing of things on Monday. So I've been spring cleaning, so that's why the hair is kind of disheveled, so I'm sorry about that, guys. But you get what you get today. I've been spring cleaning, rearranging my living room, moving things, vacuuming underneath them. If anybody's hung around here for a while, you know we have a yellow lab named Ralph. He is 2.5, and he drops fur like nobody's business. As a matter of fact, I just bought one of those electronic vacuums, the automatic ones, like the Roombas, but it's not a Roomba, because I need something to help with fur management. It is crazy. I guess it's been about, it's been about 2 weeks since my last video. Last weekend I was at the Steel City Stitchers Retreat, so we will talk about that a little bit more when we get to haul, because I have some things I purchased from there. I had a really cool table. I was sitting with Tiffany, my friend from Black Cat Stitchery, and next to her was Diana, who we met last year at Steel City. Hi, Diana. She's also on Instagram. Tiffany's on Instagram as Black Cat Stitchery. Then next to her was Lisa from By Floss. If you have not watched her YouTube, you should definitely check her out. I've been subscribed to her for quite some time, but I'm one of those people, I subscribe to people, and where I get a time to watch Flosstubes, I don't generally comment. So I comment more on Instagram probably than anywhere else. But she's great. And then next to her was Amy from Fiber Arts. Amy thoroughly enjoyed those two women, and Diana. And then next to her was Trina, which is a stitcher from Canada. We met her last year at Steel City. Very fun, hysterically funny, and just somebody that's just great to hang out with. And then next to her was my mom, Grandma Nana Stitches. Next to her was Tiffany's mom, Debbie, and then me. So we had a riot. We laughed a ton. We oohed and ahed over each other's stitching. We talked about the intricacies of having a floss tube and people just walking up to you. And we talked about the next retreat that we're all going to. So I'm attending Stitch North. I'm going to the May 4th and 5th weekend. I think that's the dates. So we're already organizing a table for there. Yeah. It was a blast. It was a blast. It's kind of tough for me because I get peopled out, and because I'm teaching clinical so often this semester, I tend to get a little more peopled out. And my husband came with me, so he came and stayed. And when we were in the stitching room, he went off and did his own thing in Pittsburgh, went, sightseeing and things like that, and seeing some things. We don't live that far. We're about 4.5-hour drive from Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to yawn. So he went off doing sightseeing stuff while we were in the stitching rooms. There was good weather while we were there. We met up for meals, so we would have breakfast together and typically had dinner together. It was just fun. It was fun. I would take breaks from the room because I honestly can't sit that all day, every day stitching. It hurts my back. I'm used to being more active. And, yeah. But it was a blast. Absolute blast. I did a little shopping, but not much. I will show you actually one of the things, the one thing that I did buy from the Crafty U, which was there, was a piece of fabric that I ended up splitting with Tiffany from Black Cat Stitchery so that she could start her Nightingale Mira and I could start my Tree of Hope Mira. So there was that. And sorry, I'm drinking coffee. It's weird because it's 6:15 at night, so this is a weird time for me to film a floss tube. But what the heck? We'll do it. All right, let's go ahead and show you what I've been stitching on. So at the retreat, I mainly focused on, for one complete day, I focused on my Royal Holiday from Mirabilia. This is being stitched on, I believe it is 28 count Abyss by Fabrics by Stephanie. But honestly, I cannot remember and I cannot find the tag. And I'm doing it with all the called for. So, I'll show you where I worked first and then I'm going to open her up and show you the whole thing. I should have had these all folded ready to go, but it's not that kind of floss tube today, peeps. And who am I kidding? It's never that kind of floss tube, right? Never. I'm never that organized. Here she is. I was so stinking proud of myself because I gutted out this whisper and I got this all filled in, except for there's a little greenery here and here. But otherwise, all the whispers in and all the metallic is in here. I did not use the called for Krynic. I used a Diamant. We used one of the called for Krynics, and the other one I put Diamant, which is the same thing I did on her head. And then I got this all in, and then I started working here because now let's open her up and take a look, shall we? I'm going to continue to work down. I have a whole nother section of whisper there right underneath that red band up on her shoulder. So right in here. Why can I not fold these today? Let's get this folded so I can show you. Sorry, guys. Right in here, there's a whole nother area of whisper. And so I'm bringing her back out soon. She's actually going with me to the Stitch North retreat, and I'm going to work on her there. But I'm really enjoying her a lot. So that is her, and I'm sorry, but I am going to put these away as I show them. This is in a nursing bag that was made for me by my cousin and my mother. I believe they worked together to make bags for me one winter while my mom was in Florida with her. And sorry, all the charms. But there's that. Second thing I'm going to show you is what I intended to work on, and I did not work on it as much as I wanted to at retreat. However, I did pick it back up once I got home because it was part of my March WIP go. This was Pandemic Sampler. This is by Sarcy Girl. This was released free during the pandemic, along with fabric dyeing instructions. I am stitching this with the called for DMC and a piece of extra design that I believe is called Dirty Linen. So before I went to retreat, I'm going to open this wide up. I outlined the 2 houses thinking that I would go to retreat and I would fill in the house. I picked it up during retreat and didn't feel like working on it, so I didn't. So I'm going to fold this back up. I picked it up when I came back and I put a couple lengths of thread into the white house here to start filling it in. And that completed its days because I spent 2 days working over to each house, putting some stitches in between here so that I could making counting easier. And so that was completed. My 3 days of WIP go on that have been completed. This is in a bag made by Tiffany at Black Cat X Stitchery. I like the mushrooms. The second day of retreat, I worked on, it's a new start for me. I started my Tree of Hope Mirabilia. Tiffany, I keep forgetting what this fabric is. Is it mystery? It's a mystery, maybe? It's by Grace Notes Fabrics. It is 28 count. I believe it's a mystery. No, maybe not. I don't know. Tiffany will have to clarify because I think she has the fabric tag for it. But I started at the top center right here. And I think it will look quite good. This is in a bag that I actually purchased from Tiffany at Black Cat X Stitchery. And I'll show you too in just a second. Let me get this all settled in here. It looks like paper piecing on the back with dragonflies and bees and things. Vinyl front, polka dot in there. And I'm going to show you this now so I can go ahead and put it in the bag. Part of my haul was I bought the other water lily. There was a chart correction, so I had the wrong color water lily floss, so I bought the correct color. And now I'm going to go ahead and put it in this bag so I don't have to take it back out. Sorry for the zippers, those of you with earbuds. So funny. I enjoyed starting that a lot, but I did not stitch on the second day anywhere near as much as I did on the first day. Is what it is. My other WIP Go call for March, because if you've been around, I had 2 WIP Go boards. One was a full coverage board. One was just, it was categories. So things like fall or Halloween, summer or patriotic, sampler, chatelaine. It was categories. And one was called Sampler, which I pulled the Pandemic Sampler from Sarcy Girl, and that's what I worked on. The other one was Fall or Halloween, and I toyed between pulling out Halloween Quaker, but I ended up pulling out Emily's House. And I don't know why I think of Halloween when I think of Emily's House, but I do. So I did pull this out. It got its 3 days. It's being stitched on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus with Stash Drive threads. And this is where it is now. I worked mainly on filling in the house, and I frogged all the grass. If you've seen this before, I had grass in here. I did not like the color I pulled for the grass, so I ended up having to frog that out. So one of the stitch evenings on this was spent frogging. But I'm happy with how it came out, how it's coming. Close to a finish, I think. We'll see. You know, I don't try not to commit to finishing things because we know how that worked out last year. But sorry, zipper. But I really like it. It's 1 thread over 2. I haven't been telling you that either. So my mirrors are all stitched 2 over 2 on 28 count. Pandemic Sampler is stitched 2 over 2 on 36 count. Emily's House is 1 over 2 on 36 count. And I am finding that I used to like 2 over 2 on 36 count exclusively, but I'm finding now I'm preferring 1 thread on 36 count most of the time. So I'll try to remember to show you this. Bad at it. If I'm doing it all the time, you'd think I'd be better at it, right? Last night I finished my time on Emily's House, and I pulled out Bonded by the Rain. Artwork is by Leonid Afremov. This is charted by Heaven on Earth Designs. I am stitching this 2 over 1/10 on 25 count. Most of my full coverage, my Hades, are on 28 count 2 over 1/10. This one is on 25 count 2 over 1/10. I find that this one's easier for me to see. So yeah, there's that. I'm learning lots. The back of this is such a mess, but here we go. I had started to do, if any of you haven't been here, I started to do Royal Rose on this project, and I found that having so many part threads causes me to have a little stress. So I've been working the last few times I've picked this up, I've been working in my part threads, and this is how far I've gotten. I did about 600 stitches. And this will stay on the Q-snap because now I said I got rid of my full coverage WIP go board. I'm going back to pulling out 1 full coverage and working on it until I get a significant amount of stitches in it, and then moving on to another one. So equivalent to a page, probably. I don't know. So this one will stay on the Q-snap. I will continue to work on it through the month of April. And I am toying with doing like a monogamous May. But we'll talk about that. So this is going to stay in my WIP basket for this week. Oh, I should have pulled. Hold on. Let me see if I can find her real quick. I found her quick. Let me fix my chair now. Now I'm all low. It wouldn't be my floss tube if you... Oh, just knocked the camera. Wouldn't be my floss tube if it wasn't all over the place, huh? Yeah. One more WIP. This is the bear from Cottage Garden Samplings. This is the series that I'm working on this year and last year, quite honestly, with Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. I was working on them with Hannah from Hannah Dowling too, but she's Speedy Needle and she's got them all done already. So yeah, I'm stitching this on 40 count Earl Grey from Grace Notes Fabrics. I'm stitching this 1 over 2 with all the called for floss. And I just put it back on the Q-snap because this is my Sunday stitch with Gail. And that is where I am. I would love to be able to focus on that and get that done either tomorrow or this week. But we'll see. This is all fill-in. I'm working on making this part so it's all fill-in. And then there's a house. There's some more grass here and some more cattails here. But I'm working on color completing at the moment. I do that with all of these. I get to the point with them where I'm trying to color complete. Yeah. This is in a bag that Tiffany from Black Cat X Stitchery made for me. I sent her the fabric. She made me the bag, and then she made me a little Notions pouch here where all my floss is in. So yeah, those are my WIPs. I thought with a retreat I would get more done, but you know how retreats go, right? We know how retreats go. You talk a ton more than you stitch Yeah, I got a lot of stitching done on Royal Holiday the first day. Didn't get as much done on Tree of Hope the second day. And then I came home on Sunday and stitched on the bear with Gail. And this week I had a couple days when I didn't stitch at all this last week. So it is what it is. Let's talk about haul first, and then we'll go into my plans. So I bought a couple more bags. This is one I won at the retreat. This is a bag by Tiffany at Black Cactus. How many times can I say her name during this video, huh? Hi, Tiff. I won this. I was joking at the table because I have never won anything in my life, really. Except the lottery when it comes to picking husbands, because I've got a great one. But you know what I mean? I've never really won anything in my life. So I won this bag from Black Cat Stitchery. I was super excited, and it's got a needle minder in it. It's got a floss pack or floss buddy in it. It's got floss drops and some tea. Super excited about that. And this one I picked up from this she showed me on our Zoom, and I knew I loved it, and I'll show you it in just a second. When I flip it over, you're all gonna see it's got peacocks, and it's colorful and bright and pretty, and yeah, so got this. I also bought some Farmhouse flossies. Her name is Cindy. She is on Facebook. She's got a Facebook page. It's called Farmhouse Flossies and Such. And let's see if I can get all the light colors together. I bought 4 skeins of peacock. Shocker. Blues and greens, right? Nobody's surprised here. And if you are, it's because you're new. Everything blues and greens is my wheelhouse. And then I picked up these, and I'm going to show you why in a second. This is Deep Pine. This is the golden one. The lighting is actually not too bad in here today. This is called Algae. I think she gave me this floss. This is called Purple Rain. Oh, this is another skein of peacock. So I actually got 5 skeins of peacock. This is Bloody Gorgeous. And this is Cherry Lemonade. So while I was there, Tiffany is part of my Wednesday night stitching group, and we had celebrated my birthday, and she, instead of mailing me my gifts, I told her to hang on to them and give them to me during a retreat. And she was so generous. She gave me a wax melter, which I don't have in here right now, the shape of a truck, and it's got changing signs on it. It is awesome. I'll have to show it to you guys next time. She gave me some socks. She gave me some yarn. Look at that. Blues and greens. And she gifted me this pattern. The pattern is called Circle of Friends. But I'm going to tell you why I want to stitch this pattern. I have 2 sisters. So I would love to stitch this, and actually we all have gray hair, and I would love to stitch us all with gray hair, and I would love to use some of these flosses I picked up for the dresses. So I'm not going to stitch it on this chocolate brown fabric. I'm not sure what I will stitch it on, but it won't be chocolate brown. I think the called for is 32 count coffee bean. And I don't have any plans to start that right now. I do have the bead pack for it. I do have another Mira as well. For the girl who said she was never going to do Miras, I sure have a lot of them going. While I was there, I was also delivered my Fabric of the Month by Grace Notes Fabrics. I am in the Fabric of the Month combo club, so 1 month I'll get a neutral, the next month I get the color. This time I got the color. It is called Mint Chocolate Chip. I get 36 count linen, and that's a little washed out. That's more washed out. That's better. It's actually more green in person. Let's see if this side shows. See, you can see more green. More green. Beautiful fabric as always. I stay in their club because I like their fabric. Okay, so the retreat. We got a bag. Had a QR code that had a link to a bunch of free patterns. We got a bag of, you can see Tiffany's card in here, of finishing items. If you stitch the piece, and then this skein of specifically dyed Seal Steady Stitchers from Forbidden Fiber Co. Leanne from Forbidden Fiber Co. was there, and I watch her all the time, but I did not have the courage to go up and say hi. She was sitting with Memphis Sarah E., which I also watch and would like to have met, in Crazy Band Landy Stitches, and the whole table just intimidated me, so I didn't go to say hi. Eventually I'll get over all that and go say hi to everybody. Sorry. You know, I don't know. I guess I'm just shy overall. This is a Steel City Stitchers pen that's in here. And we got a cup. So very nice. And then people were giving away items. I did not take anything to give away this time, so I kind of felt bad taking things from people. But they insisted. I got another waxer from Tiffany. I have quite a few of her waxers now, probably 3 or 4. I'm actually liking them with some of the threads that cause, see, I have one in here, that caused me issue. I got a floss drop from the Disorderly Stitcher. Somebody, and I forget who, came around with these little pin cushions. I thought that was the cutest thing ever. And then somebody else came around with these. This is just, it's a sewn-on charm. It's a bee charm. It's on this ribbon that's been riveted. It's got a light bulb marker in it, and it's got a little bee tag on the back. Something you could use to finish anything bee related, I would think. And then Lisa from Cross by Floss gave us gift bags that had a bottle of water, had a nice cup in there. It had this tin, which I'm going to put it back together. Oh, upside down, this tin. And in the tin are 3 of these spool minders. That's what I call them, spool minders. Peels, I guess is what they're called. I use these all the time. 2 skeins of, I believe this is a 12. DMC a 12. Yep, one in Ecru and the other in 415. So that was cute. She also gave us one of these. It is called a seam fix. So you open this up and you can rip seams. Can you see that on my face? But then this part is what I really like. So when I was frogging that grass on Emily's house, I did use this to frog stitches carefully. And then I used this to rub on the fabric once I had pulled all the thread, and it put that so it didn't look like there were holes in it. Really enjoyed that. I've never used anything like this before, so I found that quite nice. And then she gave us in this little takeout box, I call it. She gave us this little ceramic frog. And she said if we put the frog near us, it would ward off the need for frogging. So this now is going to sit in my stitchy spot in the living room and hopefully ward off the frogging. I had so much fun. I want to thank everybody that was sitting at my table. I want to thank Lisa and Amy. Both gave me shout outs on their channel this week, so I truly appreciate that. I've had a little bump in subscribers because of that, so if you've come from those shout outs, I thank you for taking the time to come watch me. A little disorganized today. I do have a little bit of knitting to show, so if you want to hang around for that, you can. If not, peace out. I'll see you next time. But I did get a little knitting done too, and I want to show. And I don't remember one of them. I think I might have shown you, but I'm not sure. I started knitting. I had gotten, okay, let me show you. Some Dishy yarn from Knit Picks. I picked up a whole mess of Dishy yarn to make dishcloths because I watched The Crazy Sock Lady, and I thought that was a great idea for gifts. So I have finished one, and I wasn't sure if I showed this to you in its entirety or not, and I've started a second one. It's a very easy knit. This is in, I think it's called Herb Garden. Let's see. It's Dishy Multi Worsted Weight. It's called Herb Garden. So here's Dishy Multi. If you're interested. And then this colorway for this dishcloth right here is Herb Garden. So there is that. I've also made some headway on my Hue Shift Afghan, and I'm not sure I have a picture here to show you. Hold on. I might not. Oh, yes. So you can see it up in this corner. That's what it's going to look like. This is the color. It's not the pattern. It's actually the color sequence for my Afghan. And just a reminder, this is done in fourths. I have one section completed, and that is this section here. I'm working on section number 2. I now have it in a big bag so it can travel with me. It was in a basket here at home, but it never went anywhere with me. And this is section number 2. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. So I'm working on this square, this next square right here. That'll go right here. I'm trying to do 2 squares a week. This will be my second square for this week. I was a little behind going into this week. I've caught up. And provided I get that square done tomorrow night, I will stay caught up. And I will, because I will switch off of cross-stitching enough to be able to keep up on that. It's been important to me to keep up on that one. It's one of my goals is 2 squares every week, and I really have been enjoying it, so I'd like to keep going with it. So what else did I want to talk about? Okay, let's talk plans. So my WIP Go call for April, both boxes were summer or patriotic. So what I've chosen to do is to pull out my Queen of Freedom and work on her for both. It'll be 6 days because it was the same category for each square. And so that means she would have gotten 3 days for each square. She will get 6 days. So this was a unicorn chart of mine that I put a call out that I was looking for, and a very kind woman was awesome, and she sent it to me. This is Queen of Freedom. Mirabilia, I started her last year. I did take her to Steel City to work on. I did not work on her. But I want to show you where she's at currently. And I believe I showed you guys her skin. So if you're new here, I started her skin. She was the first mirror I started, and I started her skin 1/1. I decided I don't like 1/1 skin. I don't like doing it. I just don't like it. Which makes no sense, although I don't do 1/1 on my full coverage either. I do 2/110. But anyway, part of it really doesn't make sense, but I didn't like 1/1. So what I ended up doing is taking one strand and doing an X and doing 2/2 over the 1/1 to convert it to 2/2. And you really can't tell. Like, I had this at retreat and we were looking at it and you really can't tell. But this is where she is right now. So she will go in a Q-snap right after I'm done with this video, and she will be out until she gets 6 days work on her. I don't have any other parts of her dress done. I think what I would like to do is just keep working down and finish her head right here, the cross stitching, finish her skin here, and then we'll go into her dress here. Ideally, I'd like to get into all of that in 6 days. So we'll see. But I'm going to put her in a Q-snap as soon as we're done. So she will be in a Q-snap. The bear. What else? Bonded by the Rain. I also have Cinnamon Stars in process. That needs to be almost done before I go to StitchCon in June. And I have a wedding piece for my daughter. And I have my Flosstube Friends piece that I'm doing with some Flosstube friends. And I also have Dreaming of Poppies, which I'll talk about that soon when I get more details. But I have Dreaming of Poppies by Rosewood Manor. And I need to get one motif stitched onto that to get ready for a round robin. So I have lots going on. But I only have 4 weeks left in my master's program. And then I graduate. So I am 6 weeks from my graduation, 4 weeks from my end of classes. Super excited that that's almost done. Super proud that I've accomplished it. I will have my master's in nursing education. And I'm really happy about that'll be done. So I'm hoping for lots of crafting and stitching time and less working on homework time. But yeah, if you're new here, it's a little bit crazy. I'm a little disorganized today. But thanks for watching. If you're somebody that comes back every time, I so appreciate it. If you guys could take a minute to like and subscribe, that's a way that you can support me here on the channel. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. I try to answer all the comments, or at least heart them so that you know I've seen them. And I think I did not show you Lost No More, and I did work on it. So I'll have to show it to you next time. But anyway, have a great day, and stitch and create. It's awesome. If that's your thing, then have at it. I'll see you soon.